I'm Cihuapilli Rose Amador, and this is Native Voice TV. Joining us now is Pegge Lemke and her grandson, Adam Cervantes. Welcome to both of you. Tell us what happened.
And one day at school, my little kindergartner guy was at lunch recess, and another student older came up and just grabbed his little bangs and snapped them off. I think his hairs were falling out around here, and he just grabbed, and snapped them off. Well, it's ironic because that few weeks, previous to that, we'd been talking about hair in the family. And, because even though that these kids have grown up with long hair, we keep telling the stories. And so I had just got finished talking with them like a week prior. So when that happened, I was, a little bit shocked, and he's a really shy little guy. And he went to tell the yard duty, and the yard duty told him, oh, it's just hair. Well, and I understand that thinking if you think it's just hair, but to us it's a little more devastating. In fact, when my daughter seen him and noticed it, she just, her heart, she choked up, and she, got teary-eyed, and she had to turn away from him so that he wouldn't see that she was so upset.
Was he upset with the situation?
Well, he'd gotten over it by the time the end of the school day came, and he basically had forgotten about it, maybe. So when my daughter composed herself, she didn't want to scare him or anything, so when she composed herself and, she lets a little bit of time go by, she turned around and he was playing with his little brother or whatever he was doing, and she goes, oh, you cut your bangs, or you cut your hair. And he immediately started crying. And he said he didn't cut it, that some little girl cut it. And so she asked him what happened, and he told
We can
him
follow up with what's going to take place. But now, Adam, how old are you?
I'm 11.
And you go to what school?
Christopher.
Now, this happened to your cousin, right?
Yeah.
Your cousin. And you've always had long hair?
Yep.
What is your native name?
Wichasha.
What does that mean?
Morning Star Man.
Morning Star Man. That's a beautiful name. What have you learned about having long hair? From your family or uncle or?
I learned mostly from my grandma and kind of my family. And I learned that my hair is mostly strength and power. And so that's why I never cut it.
And you're very proud of it, as you should be.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that your cousins and the smaller ones understand that too, so you could teach them.
Yeah.
Is there time for Adam to tell a quick story? Or
I'm a Ojibwe, and I'm adopted Lokota. My name is Wichasha, and I'm 11 years old. My friends call me Adam, and I go to school at Christopher. I have never had my hair cut before in my life, and it has been growing since I was a baby. Without hair, it's just like a mouth with no tongue, body with no legs, or legs with no feet. This was told to me by my uncle. There's this beautiful horse, and his mane symbolizes the wind and lightning, and when he runs and the hooves touches the ground, it's like thunder, and when he runs and his hair is falling back behind, it's like lightning. Most of our elders had long hair, and it's a sign of respect and knowledge that they have lived their lives in a good way.
And everything in Native life is based on balance. I don't try to admonish or get after them, and just because they're not knowledgeable. And so we try to inform them in a very cordial manner, because that was the way I was taught, that we have to treat others as we want to be treated. And so I try to practice that. And so then the regalia, not to touch the regalia. The hair that we wear, many of us wear our hair long because it has its grounding in ceremony and vision quest and the purpose of life. And braiding the hair is very important to our Plains people, because we wrap that ceremony within the context of our hair. Many times we put medicine in our hair. and that was to preserve and protect our cultural way of life. And so it's very important. Our hair is very private and very personal and very ceremonial, and it's necessary for us to have that as a way of life for our grandchildren and children. My grandson had his hair, and he's growing it again. But so there are times that parents decide that it needs to be evened out or trimmed up, but that's for the parents to do, not, you know. And so we need to be very cognizant that each part of who we are has a purpose and has a meaning to us as Indian people, and it's very important. Even many of our tribes, my tribe particularly, when the baby is born into this life and the umbilical cord becomes detached from the baby's belly button, that is kept, and it's a pouch is made for that. So when that baby grows up, he wears that, or she wears that into ceremonies, whether it's a sweat lodge ceremony, Sundance, or whatever that ceremony, that connects them with their mother. Many of our regalia, we dance with regalia that's very long to the ground and trails down to the ground, and that's our umbilical cord to connect us to Mother Earth. And so all of that regalia that we wear has a meaning and a purpose, and it's very necessary for us to understand that. So we try to share as much as we can with the audience, that which we can share. There's some things we cannot share with them. And we keep that guarded and protected, so we don't share what we cannot share.
That's good, and I think it's very educational for people to, you know, to learn these things that, and not just take it for granted, you know, that, you know, these things are very sacred, you know, to our people, and it's not something to be, you know, it's yes, it's beautiful, but just compliment them. You don't have to touch feathers or touch jewelry or touch anything, you know, especially in hair too. You know, I've seen that a lot where, oh, you know, grab the hair because it's long, and especially on men, you know, because they're not used to seeing men with long hair as often as we are, and, you know, and you don't do that, you know, that's someone's
personal, private.
Absolutely. So it's good that people know that, you know, learn that, because you can't expect people already to know that, you know, but especially as kids.
Right.
See you next week. Good night.